It was only 3 miles to the west of downtown Moab to get to the Sand Flats Recreation Area gate. We stopped to pay the $5 entrance fee, and from the gate you can see the parking area for Hell's Revenge. We aired down in the parking lot, and once we got turned and lined up with the start of the trail, we shifted into 4 low, because right there, next to the parking lot, is the first fin, and a spectacular way to begin the trail. One of the benefits of coming to Moab from Texas is that you're used to the central time zone. So even though we were getting up around 6 local time and on the road by 7, it didn't really feel like we were getting up early. But when we got here, we were the only ones in the parking lot, and the sun was low enough that it was casting shadows across the trail.
This is the pick your poison type. You can either hug the rock and get real tippy, or you can drop down in this little hole over here on the left.
Even though it was dry, we opted to stay to the right for this section, which I believe is called Lake Michigan. I'm sure the name makes more sense when the low side is full of water. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Geoff Steiner with the YouTube channel Colorado 4x4. He put out an excellent multi-part Hell's Revenge series that Brian and I watched several times before we came out here. If you've never been here, I'd highly recommend you take a look at them.
Good thing we got so much junk in the trunk.
Being off camber is a feeling that is hard to get used to. I don't know if the weight really helped, but we did have a decent collection in the back. There's a CO2 tank in a cradle that weighs about 65 pounds when the tank is full, a medium plastic bin with tools, a jack, spare fluids, and other necessities for trail repairs that probably weighs another 50 pounds. Add about 20 pounds for recovery gear and a cooler full of ice and drinks for 30 pounds. And you've got a decent amount of junk in the trunk.
I thought for sure I was gonna skid my tires going up that.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to have to engage a locker, because I remember watching a video that one guy said it was a good locker tester, but I didn't. I just walked right up.
Something that we had read and heard several times was that the slick rock, as this stone is called, actually provides a great deal of traction. Over the next couple of days, we found that to be true, probably because it has a texture similar to concrete. We were climbing obstacles that in other areas our Jeeps would have been spinning the tires on, and actually only needed to engage lockers on a few occasions. guess because science, cameras tend to flatten out the terrain. It makes obstacles that are impressive in person seem like they should be a cakewalk in a video. So I asked Brian to stand next to this one, for reference of course. He's a little taller than me, so about 6 foot and some change with his hat on. Up ahead you can see the first long, steep climb on the trail. And once again, the camera just doesn't do it justice. Watching Brian going up in front of us, it reminded me of a fly walking up the wall. The Jeep's off-road pages said we hit a 29-degree incline. You can see yellow marks painted on the trail. Sometimes, usually when there's limited visibility and a sharp drop-off involved, you can see solid yellow lines also marking the edges of the trail. Driving on the trail, you want to be on the lookout for other vehicles. What this park offers, though, that you don't always see, is separate routes for bikes. These paths do occasionally cross yours, so you also want to be watchful of cyclists coming in from the side. Finally, we had made it to the optional obstacle, Hell's Gate. This is the obstacle that in my mind defines Moab, and I had watched as many videos as I could find in preparation. It's also the one that I had the most anticipation for doing.
Okay, you're good right there for right now. Just keep coming straight. Little passenger. Keep up. Little driver.
Brian tackled this challenge first, and before that, we both walked up to the point that you can see him standing. Most videos don't even show the drop-in for Hell's Gate, but let me tell you, it is a lot more intimidating in person than the video would suggest. Because right here is about a 4-foot drop on the passenger side. The driver's side tires remain in contact the whole time, which is probably what saved my frame rail and rear bumper from slamming down onto the ledge. I was very grateful for his skilled guidance here and on other obstacles during the trip.
Go passenger.
I do wish we'd set up a GoPro on the ground to record. It would be a really impressive shot, and more importantly, leaving it on the ground would have ensured the camera didn't distract from ground guide duties. And here it is, the moment of truth. I'm staring at Hell's Gate and there's no turning back now. The plan is to keep the hood level as I climb the lower V-notch portion. If one side starts dropping, I have to turn into it to level the hood back out. About 3/4 of the way to the top, though, there is a spot similar to the drop-in. It has a ledge on the driver's side and half the V-notch on the passenger side. You need to anticipate what the vehicle will do and line up for it by coming down off the wall on passenger side a little bit.
You're good.
This is so you don't lift the passenger tire too much or even roll over. Or at least, that's what we were told. We continued on to the Colorado River overlook, got out, took a few pictures, but to be honest, I was still thinking about Hell's Gate. That obstacle is something else, and I'm already looking forward to returning to Moab so I can do it again. We found Devil's in Mickey's hot tubs, and let me tell you, this isn't them. This is car wash, and was pretty easy compared to what the others looked like. While the video makes it appear like a sedan could do car wash, we still hit 32 degrees down angle dropping in. In comparison, the others looked like the walls were nearly vertical on the bottom, barely long or wide enough to fit a four-door Jeep. We oohed and awed over them, but that was about it. We didn't even consider trying them. There's something that I say from time to time when off-roading, and that is, at some point, gravity takes over. Once the laws of physics has run its course, it's once again time for the engine to do its thing. I love me the sound of a diesel buckling down and pumping out the torque. This is the Dragon's Tail, and you can see by the way he just disappears over the edge that it's a pretty steep downhill grade. At the very top, it's steep enough that our tires slid on the rock for a moment before they regained traction. After that, though, I was able to maintain a safe, steady speed just using engine braking with the transfer case in 4 low and the transmission in first gear. Once we got down the Dragon's Tail, I thought we were almost done for 2 reasons. First, it seemed like the perfect complement to the climb at the beginning of the trail. And second, I knew Brian had done a ton of legwork in preparation for this trip, so I didn't read up on all the trails like I should have. I was content just following his lead and wasn't following along on the map. But the reality was that we were only 2/3 of the way through, and there were still several rocky obstacles ahead that were more technical than anything we'd seen on this trail previously. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed watching.